In a world where a lot of competing different products satisfy the same requirement, you have a lot of advertisers who want you to try their product. And then you have other advertisers who want you to try their product. Try my product. Try my product. Try my product. Try my product. My product's the best. No. My product's the best. Try my product. Well, I want you to forget all that and try my product. Forget about those other advertisers. Try my product. Well, there's only one way you can prove your product is better than the rest, and that's with powerful advertising. And one of the best ways to advertise on the internet is via social media and through the largest social media platform in the world, and that's Facebook. So today we're going to talk about Facebook Ads Tutorial. And I'm excited to teach this class. My name is Rob Sanders. I'm with Simplilearn, and today we are going to talk about all the different ads that Facebook has to offer. So, introduced back in 2007, the Facebook ads platform has grown tremendously over the last few years. Almost $4 billion of revenue in 1 year. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of advertisers. Why is there a lot of advertisers? Because a lot of people use Facebook. It's a popular platform. So not only is it popular, but it's popular with advertisers because if you're advertising on Facebook, you have the opportunity to share your product and your brand with users who you think are going to buy your product or associate with your brand. And on Facebook, you can do that a number of different ways, specifically in somebody's newsfeed. And specifically that person's newsfeed that again is potentially interested in your brand, your product. So there's a lot of ways to advertise and a lot of reasons why you want to advertise. So I just mentioned one of the reasons. Hey, it's an opportunity for you to reach out to people who are targeted, who are specific to your product and your brand. So not only that, but you combine that target audience with the amount of time that people spend on Facebook. Okay, people spend a lot of time on Facebook. In fact, not only do people spend a lot of time on Facebook, there's a lot of people on Facebook. In fact, 2.27 billion in the third quarter of 2018. And so when we say spend a lot of time, we mean going to that Facebook profile at least once a day. Okay, so a lot of eyeballs throughout the day checking their newsfeed on Facebook. Facebook also enables you, the advertiser, to find the perfect audience. And so that's the great combination. A lot of people on Facebook and targeted audience. So it's a platform that allows you to put your product in front of people based on specific interest, specific demographics, specific location. So you're really putting your product out in front of the right people at the right time. And so the other positive and pro about Facebook is it's lesser spend, greater reach. And what do we mean by that? Well, traditionally, Facebook is a little bit cheaper than other online advertising models. It is definitely a lot cheaper than your traditional advertising models. And Facebook has been known to have good return on investment because it's cost a little bit less than other advertising models and other advertising platforms. So that's the other benefit to being on Facebook. So if you're into building a brand, you want to be on Facebook. Why? Because it helps you increase your brand awareness. It's going to help you allow users to know what your brand is all about. Because remember, you're putting your brand in front of like-minded people or people you think that are going to associate with your brand, that are going to associate with your product. So you put your brand out there, you incorporate your advertisement in somebody's newsfeed, it's going to add value. It's going to establish trust and credibility, especially if that person's friend is associated with that brand. So instant credibility if friends and family members of a person on Facebook are associated with your brand. So it has the opportunity to really lend a lot of credence to somebody who is on Facebook, active on Facebook, and is your targeted demographic. And the great thing about Facebook is it also has other features, other advertising features such as retargeting. So you could target people who've already expressed an interest in your service or product. But if they didn't go through the conversion process, meaning they didn't go all the way through and buy your product, you can certainly reach out to them again. Just like your traditional retargeting options on, say, Google or some other advertising platform, Facebook works the same way. We want to be able to reach out to people who aren't fully committed at the point in time, but we can reach out to them at another point in time. And so Facebook's advertising platform allows us to do that. So it's a great feature that we could take advantage of that we'll talk about more throughout this session. And then it helps increase revenue, sales, and leads. And that's primarily what most advertisers are after. More revenue, more sales, more leads. So Facebook allows us to educate our audience, again, a targeted audience, about a specific product we have to offer. So the more our audience knows about our product, especially if their friends and family members and colleagues are using the product, then the more likely they're going to purchase. So if you go back to the other feature, higher revenue, less spend, this is the primary reason. Because you have a chance to influence somebody who's very targeted, who's very active on the platform, and who may have like-minded people in their life associating with your brand and product. So it's a perfect combination for advertising. Perfect combination. And so today we're going to talk about all the different types of Facebook ads. And we're going to start out with the single image ad. And the single image ad are just single image advertisements that have an optional text on top and a link description that links to the website. So single image ads are probably the most popular. You can see them on probably your own Facebook feed if you look. So in fact, I'll just jump over to my Facebook feed right now. And if I go there, what do I see? I see a single image ad here, and it's from Shopify Partners. So become a Shopify partner, add e-commerce to your list of qualifications. So Shopify must be, a brand that is trying to woo my business. Okay, so they know that somebody that I'm associated with, or maybe I fit their demographic, so they're targeting my newsfeed with a single image ad. So that's what a single image ad looks like. It's simply just one single image with some description. And the great thing about this single image, if you haven't noticed, is the pixels are pretty large. It's 1200 by 628, so it kind of stands out a little bit. It's not your traditional thumbnail. It really pops when you look at the newsfeed. So again, if I go back to my newsfeed here, you can see it just really stands out within the newsfeed. So I can't miss it. If I'm a targeted part of their targeted audience, it's hard for me to, not see this ad interact in some way, especially, again, if I know somebody in my network on Facebook, or either that be a friend or family member, is associated with that product. Okay, in addition to the single image ads, Facebook also has multi-product ads, or also known as carousel ads. And so what the carousel ads do is allow you, in carousel form, allow you to rotate different ads with different messaging and different call to action. And so here you can see Simplilearn has an example of a carousel ad where they're showcasing their different courses. So this allows users to view a range of all your different products and services. If you have multiple products and services to offer, then the carousel ads would be a good option for you. So in addition to the carousel ads and single image ads, it gets a little bit more sophisticated in terms of technology, where Facebook allows us to offer up video ads. And so video ads are interactive. It's a good way to really showcase your product, your brand, your service. And the great thing about the video ads is they can go from just a few seconds all the way up to 2 minutes, or all the way up to 120 minutes. And so you can really, really put a lot of time and effort into the video ads to really put your brand out there. And so the one thing about video is it is interactive. Most people engage with video, and they tend to get about 10 to 30% more views than other forms of ads. So the video ads are really a popular way for you as an advertiser to put your brand or product out there. So you can put your brand and product out there in not just a few seconds, but really tell a nice complete story to get the engagement, to get the person to take the action you want them to do. So that's why video ads have become very popular, because they tend to get more engagement, more interaction than your traditional single image ad or say your carousel ad. So Facebook also allows us to advertise something called lead ads. And what lead ads allow us to do is obtain user details. Okay, so we can acquire or get an email address or phone number from somebody who's interested in our product or service, and that person doesn't even have to leave Facebook. So if you look here in the example, here we have the ad, somebody clicks on sign up, and they get this form submission. And the great thing about the lead ad is that it can sync up with any CRM, or most of your popular CRMs. I should say, for example, Salesforce as a good example of a CRM where somebody fills that out, the information goes directly to Salesforce. And so lead ads are really good if you're trying to generate, leads for your business. And the form itself, the interaction stays right in Facebook. And so that's the great thing about it. They don't really have to leave the platform. Another form of advertising on Facebook are slideshows. Okay, so unlike the carousel ads, which rotate, and the carousel ads, remember, rotate and showcase different products or services, these ads are interactive, but they're rotating different imagery. So it allows you to really put your best images out there with a really strong call to action, just like you see here with the Simply Learn example. Okay, so they're showcasing, their different classes. And then they have the Get Started Today call to action to really punctuate the slideshow ad. So what's interesting is you can really gauge a person's interest by throwing different products or images out there. You can really immerse a user's experience here by showing different images. And then the last type of ad on Facebook is called a collection ad. And so these ads combine basically your video, your slideshow, or your product images taken from your product catalog. Okay, so if you're an advertiser who wants to advertise several products at once, then this could be a great option for you, the collection ad. So here you could see the Simply Learn example. Here they're showing, not only, some good slideshows and imagery with some good messaging below that. So before we get into the steps for creating an ad on Facebook, let's talk about some of the important changes that have happened on Facebook recently in light of data sharing. So really what Facebook's done is they made an important change on how user data is being used for advertising. And so what Facebook's done is they removed something called a partner category, and that was an ad targeting program which the targeting option was based on data provided by a third-party partner. So if you're an advertiser and you had a third-party partner that provided some targeted options to you, that was known as a partner category. And in summary, Facebook has removed that program. And so now the only way you can gain user information is if they provide that voluntarily, like the lead ad, for example. Now, you have to get the data directly from the third party now. So you can't have that third party give you that targeting option anymore. You could certainly, again, capture the data yourself by relying on lead capture landing pages, as an example, or the lead ads. And you can certainly still outsource your advertising to lead gen agencies and media buying companies. Okay, but the partner category has more or less gone away. Okay, so now let's get into how to create a Facebook ad. So what are the steps? So the first thing you'll have to do is set up a campaign. So when you're setting up a campaign, you have to select what kind of spending you want to do for your advertisement and what you want to achieve. Okay, so you have to, in other words, identify the goal. Okay, so with Facebook, you have two opportunities at hand here. You can jump into an auction. Just like Google, what you're going to do is your ad's going to enter into an auction. And so this is where you can decide how you want to spend your money to achieve your goals by choosing an appropriate bid strategy for the auction. So in the auction, you're competing with other advertisers. Another option is you could do reach and frequency. And so with reach and frequency, you'll be able to advertise to your brand's audience with a fixed cost. So reach and frequency allows you as the advertiser to better predict the delivery, cost, and reach of your branding campaigns. So with auction, you have more choice, you have flexibility, you have scalability, but not a lot of predictability, okay? Because again, you're going into an auction, and your auction is going to be competing against other advertisers. So this option is available to all advertisers, and you can have pricing that you can change during the auction price process. So that's the unpredictability part, is the pricing. So pricing can fluctuate during the auction because you have different advertisers who are trying to achieve the most prominence for their ad. With reach and frequency, you'll be able to plan and set up your campaigns and actually set it up so it's more predictable on how the delivery is going to be done with reach and frequency. So more predictability with reach and frequency because you could set everything up in your campaign. Okay. So again, with the reach and frequency, you'll be able to advertise with a fixed cost. Auction, you're not necessarily going with a fixed cost, you're going with more scalability, flexibility on cost. That can change. Okay, so once you choose your objective for your advertisement, then you need to choose the type of advertisement you want to do, and it's based on your objectives. So what's your objective? Is it awareness, to drive awareness? Is it to drive consideration? Or is it to drive a conversion? So these are the three objectives available to you for your advertising. You want to choose one of those objectives. So let's take a look at each of these objectives available to you. Okay, so let's start out with awareness. So awareness can help with creating an interest for your product or your service. So when we say awareness, we're thinking maybe brand awareness or product awareness to get out there in front of people. Okay, so with consideration, it's a little bit different than awareness, but not so different in that we're really aiming to get people to think more about our product and service and have them take the next step. So with awareness, you're introducing your product and service. With consideration, you're getting people to take the next step and start looking for information about the product or service you're advertising. And then conversion is kind of that final step. If you're really after conversion, you really want that person to make the decision. Okay, so they're either going to buy or use your product or service. Okay, and so that's the conversion objective. So you have to choose one of these three objectives here. Is it going to be awareness? Is it going to be consideration? Or is it going to be conversion? And so let's go back to awareness. Okay, so if we look at awareness, under awareness, we have brand awareness and we have reach. Okay, so when we look at brand awareness, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase awareness about our brand or the product in our brand. So these types of objectives, meaning awareness, don't really emphasize interaction. Okay, you're not really trying to get somebody to purchase or buy something or opt into a newsletter. Really, your goal as an advertiser with brand awareness is to get your product out there so people are aware that it exists, okay? Let alone forget about buying it or opting into a newsletter. Your goal with awareness and brand awareness is to get people to see that you're existing. Your product exists, your service exists, it's available. And really, the aim is to create high brand recall amongst users rather than focusing on generating revenue. So when we say, high brand recall, what we mean is, hey, if your brand is out there and you are really pushing it out there amongst a large targeted demographic audience, then the next time that audience sees your brand, they're going to be able to associate with it. Okay, it's not going to be foreign to them or the first time they ever seen it. You really want them to recall, hey, I know that brand. I've seen that brand before. Okay, that's kind of the reaction you want to get from a brand awareness. Hey, that's a cool looking logo, or man, that product looked interesting. Now I'm going to take the next step. So that's what brand awareness really needs to do. It needs to create that recall for your audience. Okay, so let's take a look now at reach. So with reach ensures that our advertisement is seen by the maximum number of people within our target audience and budget. So with reach, we're really trying to reach or get our ad out there to as many people as possible, given who we're trying to target and given the amount of money we have to spend. So it helps to target a smaller audience to visit your website, watch your video, or even convert on your website. Okay, so that's with reach, we're just really trying to get it out there. Okay, so let's move on to consideration. So we talked about awareness, we talked about brand awareness and reach. With consideration, we have, people who are willing to take that next step. Okay, so if we're targeting a specific demographic and we're looking at consideration, we really want them to do something with our ad. We don't want them just to recall it or see it for the first time. We want them to take that next step. And so with consideration, we have traffic. So if we have an ad, the least we want somebody to do who's seen our brand before is at least click on our ad. Okay, so we want people to, click on our ad and go to our website. Really, that's a goal of consideration is, hey, I know that brand. I've seen that brand before. Let me click on this and see what they have to offer. So this might involve them listening to a podcast or reading an article or being introduced to an app. So really you're setting the stage for further down the funnel by further introducing them to something that's on your website. So you really want them to take that next baby step. The next baby step is clicking on the ad, going to your site, and further educating themselves about your particular product or service. So Facebook shows these advertisements to people within your target audience based on their past behavior. Okay, so that's a great thing about Facebook. You can really, really get targeted here with your audience. Okay, so engagement. So we talk about traffic, we're going to talk about engagement. So these types of ads are useful when we want users to engage more with our ad. For example, we can, really have an advertisement or a post that will allow people to like it, they can respond, or even take advantage of an offer. So that's what we mean by engagement. We really want people to react positively within Facebook about our ad or our post. Okay, so it can help with building an engagement audience for your Facebook page that can be used for future advertising campaigns. So we're really getting people to take that next step. And what's that next step? If they don't go to our website, they can like what we have to say. And then we can have app installs. So that's another option to us for consideration. So app installs are great if we want to send users to an app store, for example, so they can download our app. So if we're really, really pushing an app that we just developed, then an app install could be a good opportunity under consideration to allow that user to take that next step and download your app so that at a later stage they can go and interact with the app. We have video views. So video views are good advertisements when you're promoting your product or service and you really want a high number of views. So remember, early on we were talking about the types of ads available on Facebook. We talked about video views, how they get 10 to 30% more engagement. Well, that's really what we want videos to do. Under consideration, we really want people to understand what we're trying to do and really engage with our product. And so they could turn around and like it. They could turn around and push it out to their friends. So video, we know, is high engaging with an audience. And so having a video allows you to really allow that video to potentially go viral. Okay, so video views help users engage and enables the creation of an audience which can be used for future advertisements. Okay, so highly engageable, interactive, allows people to, really, really take that next step with your product or service by really getting to know what you're all about. Okay, then we have lead generation. So lead generation is interesting because remember those leads ads we mentioned when we were talking about the type of ads that Facebook has to offer? Well, lead ads Or, if you have a lead generation type ad, really what you could do is you can just collect the information. So if really somebody's interested in your product or service right away, then you can generate a lead ad and allow them to say, hey, you know what, I'm interested. I'm going to sign up for your newsletter. Or yes, I'm interested in your product or any future giveaway or promotion you have to offer. Here's my email address, here's my name, here's my phone number. So lead ads are great for consideration because somebody knows your ad, they've likely engaged with you, they like what you have to say, and they're willing to take that next step. And you can integrate your lead ads with third-party apps that's tied to your CRM. So, for example, Salesforce. Lead ads can sync up right with Salesforce, and then you can then follow up with that user at a later point. So that's consideration. So we have a lot of good options available to us under consideration. We could drive traffic, video views, app installs, just regular engagement, and then we got lead gen. So we got a lot of opportunities for consideration if you're really trying to target people who are already familiar with your brand or product or service. And then last but certainly not least, we have messaging. So with messages, these ads aim to convert a user's interest in a product to a successful sale or conversion. So it targets people who are more likely to respond through Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is a service that is integrated nicely in with Facebook. And so with Facebook Messenger, you can communicate with that person directly just through Messenger. Okay, so it could be a chatbot or it can be a rep who can act as customer support or provide more information about the product or service. So you can use Messenger to your advantage. You can talk right away to somebody who is really interested in considering your product or service. So this is kind of the capstone of consideration because it takes into account one of Facebook's most popular features, which is Messenger, and allows you as an advertiser to use that feature to engage with your targeted audience directly. Let's turn our attention to the last objective, which is conversion. So under conversions, we have conversions, product catalog sales, and store visits. So for conversions, really, this is the end of the funnel. This is really the part of the funnel where we want people to take action. So ads related to the objective of conversions really aims to increase, whatever the goal is of your website. So if it means signups or registrations for your services or sales or downloads or any desired action on your website, then that's the conversion. Okay, so that's what we're aiming to achieve when we are tying our ads to conversions. Okay, so you have conversions and you have pure product catalog sales. So for product catalog sales, these could be ads to help promote your e-commerce store or other products in your store portfolio, So think of Amazon, think about all the products they have on their website, they are probably likely going to choose, product catalog sales because it really will help really push traffic to the store and really get somebody to convert either for a particular product or get them to look at other product categories and buy something there. So really, product catalog sales are really great for future campaigns when you're really looking for sales. And then we have store visits. And so store visits really help direct traffic to your location, and really it helps deliver ads based on your user's current location. Okay, so if we really want to get somebody to the store, if you have a brick and mortar store, for example, then you can use store visits as your objective under conversions to really drive traffic to that location. So that's what store visits are. We really want people to, take that next step, get to your store and check out your store and purchase. So that's what store visits are under the conversions objective. So within each of these advertisement objectives, we can create split test, also known as A/B testing. And the reason why we call it A/B testing, because what you're doing is you're testing one variable from the other. So really you have two advertisements that really are the same, except the only difference is there's one thing that's altered from the other. So in this example, we have A with one promotion, and then we have B, which is the same audience, same everything except a different promotion. So you're really changing one variable when you do a split test. And so that's available to Facebook, just like any other type of advertising. Let's say you do, search advertising on Google. Split testing's available. Let's say you do email marketing. Split testing's available with subject lines. Facebook's no different. It allows split testing, or allows you to use two versions of the same ad and able to change one of those parameters. So you can see really what ads performs best. That's the whole idea behind a split test. Okay, so if it's the original sale of 25% off, then hey, so be it. You know it works because you tested it against another variation. And then the great thing about testing, it never ends. So if 25% off works over, say, $2,000 off, then you try something else to see if that will increase sales. That's the whole idea behind testing, is you always want to see what works. Okay, so really what it comes down to is it could be a promotional offer, or it could be something as simple as changing the call to action. A different color on the call to action. It could be anything you want to test, as long as you're able to, figure out what works and then apply what works, so you can continue to improve your advertising. That's really the whole idea behind A/B testing. Okay, so it really is identifying an element you want to test. And then really once you identify that element, and you test it and you know what wins, then you can move on to other things to figure out what else works. So if you tested the promotion, then go on to the CTA. So you could test things like colors and call to actions and imaging and messaging and positioning. And you could play around with your target audience and test a segment of a target audience against another. So there's lots of things you could test when you A/B test. The most important thing to note, though, when you A/B test, is you always want to keep in mind what metric you want to measure the test up against. So some of the metrics you could use are click-through rate, which is CTR, cost per click, CPC. You can use conversion rate, also known as CR, or just clicks. The whole idea is when you do a test and you're testing a promotional offer, you're testing even the call to action, you need to measure that up against a metric. So that metric is what's going to determine the winner. And so it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It could be as simple as testing, one call to action against another and determining which one gets more clicks. And if one gets more clicks than the other, then hey, you have a winner. Okay, let's go through the steps of creating a new campaign on Facebook using Facebook's Ads Manager. So you're going to log into facebook.com/ads manager, and you're just going to click on the Create New Campaign button. And when you do that, you're going to see a screen that looks just like this. And you're going to go through a series of steps. So as we presented earlier, the first step is always choosing your objective. So we have awareness, consideration, and conversion. So recall that awareness was getting your brand out there to people who never seen your brand or product or service before. So it's a matter of trying to reach as many people as you can to get your brand out there. And so you have brand awareness, or you have reach. Remember, one is controlled, one is uncontrolled, okay? So reach is a little bit more controlled because you could set your budget. Okay, and you can control your budget a little bit better. So brand awareness is just getting it out there, having Facebook plop it in front of the ad in front of as many people as possible. With reach, you are trying to maximize how many people you show your ad to, but it is a little bit more controlled against the budget. Okay, either way, choosing awareness is going to set the objective of trying to maximize your exposure for your brand, your product, or your service. Okay, if somebody has already seen your brand, or somebody's already familiar with your product or your services, then you may want to choose the objective of consideration. And so these are people who, again, are already familiar, who you want to take that next step. Remember, Facebook is an environment where you're targeting a specific audience. So you're targeting people have likely seen your brand, product, or service. So you want them to take that next step. That's what you want them to do. Okay, so here under consideration, we have traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead gen, or messages. All of these choices are getting somebody to do something for you. For example, app installs. You want them to install your app. Or engagement, you want them to like or share your post. Video views, watching your video or messaging. You want them to interact with you via Facebook's Messenger feature. So all of these are interactions of some sort where somebody's taking that next step. They've seen your brand, they're interested, but they're not quite ready to purchase yet. Okay, so that's what consideration is. Then you have conversion. This is people in the funnel who you know or think you know want to convert. And when I say think you know, meaning, you're really targeting people who you've targeted before, who maybe has purchased from you before, or is exactly the type of audience you're looking to purchase. Okay, so you have conversions, you have catalog sales, and you have store traffic, meaning driving foot traffic to a store. Okay? So these are people further down the funnel who you don't necessarily want to take a smaller action like just share your Facebook post or provide their email address and name. Okay, so you want them to purchase. So these are the 3 marketing objectives you're going to choose from. Okay, so we're just going to choose conversions for the sake of this example. And then when we go to choose conversions, remember we can create a A/B split test. Okay, so that's a choice you should always choose because you always want to be testing something. Okay, in this case, we might want to test the ad. We might want to test, say, the call to action because we're looking for conversions. So it could be as simple as having one ad with a buy more and the other ad that says, hey, check out our website. So you have that option to A/B split test, and then you have budget optimization, which basically allows you to set your budget evenly across your different ads. Okay. And so what Facebook's going to do is basically make sure that the best performing ad is going to be seen more often. So that's budget optimization. You're maximizing your budget towards an ad or ads that you want to be able to have more control over in terms of what's working and what's not working versus not selecting this option. Your ads are just going to randomly show and there's not going to be any necessary control over how much spend each ad gets. So that's the first step in creating your campaign. It's always choosing your objective with a few options built in. So the next step in the process is ad set. Okay, and as you can see here, before you even get to ad set, what Facebook is prompting us to do is look at basically how the A/B test is going to work. So here they're explaining how an A/B split test works. Okay, so basically what an A/B split test does is serve up 50-50, the original versus a variation of the original. Okay, so that's more or less how an A/B split test works. And so Facebook is doing us some good by showing us this messaging. Okay, because that's what we chose. Now, notice we chose conversion as our objective. Okay, so what we're going to be required to do is put a conversion pixel on our website so that Facebook can actually track conversions. And so what we want people to do is purchase. And so what we need to do then is add a Facebook pixel to our website so that Facebook can actually track how many people purchase from your campaign. So this is very important. And so if you're driving traffic to your website and you want them to convert, then you need to make sure all the tracking's in place. So the next step in setting up your ads is setting up an offer. So if you have an offer that you want to provide, go ahead and select on because the default is set to off. Okay. What you could do is you can associate it with your particular company page on Facebook, and then you're going to create your offer. So I'm going to put my offer title. I'm going to put a little bit more details in there. I can put an end date when the offer expires and a specific time. So based on what you put, this is what people is going to see with the ad. And here you have the redemption section where you can have people redeem the offer online or online and in store. So if it's online, you need to provide Facebook with a URL where people can go and redeem that promotion, that offer. And then you have a chance, an opportunity to add a particular code. So you don't necessarily have to have a code with your offer. It could be a one-time code, or it can be a unique code, okay, or unique codes, okay? And then you have an advanced option here. And this advanced option is pretty important because if you're setting up an offer and you only want a specific number of people to see that offer, then, and you don't want them to share that offer, then what you could do is hide the share option. So that way people won't be able to share the promotion with friends or family or whatnot. Now they could still copy and paste the link of the offer, but they won't be able to easily do it with the share option. And here you can put some terms and conditions. Okay. So that's the offer, okay? And it's pretty intuitive in the wizard. My recommendation is you should always put out an offer to get people to, again, your objective is to get people to convert. So an offer always helps incentivize conversions. Okay, here we have our variable because we're testing, we're split testing, okay? So here we're choosing what we want to split test. So if we choose creative, basically what we're doing is we're telling Facebook we want to test our creative, our ad. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to select the audience. And so we could choose a custom audience, a lookalike, or all. So here you can see we have a lookalike, and a lookalike basically what Facebook does is they're trying to find people who are very similar to your customers. Okay, so that's who you want to target. People who look like your customers on Facebook. Okay, so you could choose a lookalike audience, or you could choose a custom audience if you already have one. So we're going to create a new custom audience here, and basically what we want them to do is website traffic, and we're just going to call it website traffic, and basically it's going to be all website visitors. Okay, so we're going to create this audience here. So we've done that, and basically now what we're trying to do is we're trying to tell Facebook, okay, if our audience is all website visitors, where are those visitors going to come from? So we want to choose a location. So it could be everyone in a particular location, everyone who lives in a particular location, or recently in the location, or traveling in a location. Okay, so here you can see we have it set to United States, but we can always change that. So you can really pick and choose areas or cities, and even exclude areas. You can even upload locations in bulk. So if you have a specific set of locations, you can upload that. After you choose your location, you're then going to choose your age. So here you have, if you look all the way down to 13 years of age, and then your range goes all the way up to 65 years of age. Then we have our gender. We can choose both men and women, or just men and just women. And then we can target a specific language. If we want to target Spanish people, or people who speak Spanish, then we can choose Spanish. Notice we can add multiple languages. Okay, so if we want to do some specific targeting, for example, we can do interest or specific behavior. So if I click suggestions, then for example, Facebook's going to offer us up some suggestions. So if we want to target people who have an interest in foreign language, or charity and causes, or mindfulness, or it could be specific job titles. Okay, so we can get really detailed with our targeting. We also have connections. So who do we want to target? So are these people who like our page, who are friends of people who like our page? We can also exclude people who like our page. Okay, so remember, your advertising is tied to a Facebook page. However, you could still drive that traffic to your website. But what Facebook does is once you connect your ad or your campaign to a Facebook page, then they have an idea of the profile, then they have an idea of what type of community you have on Facebook. Okay, so that really helps them offer you more detailed targeting in the form of connections. Okay, so when we're done, we could save the audience. So I'm just going to name it English and Spanish. Click save. Okay, now I have my audience saved. And the important thing here is that this audience is saved. We can use it at a later date, or if we're setting up a new campaign, we can pull from the same audience under use a saved audience. So if I just type in English and Spanish, you'll see my audience here. Okay, and we can always edit it if we need to. Okay, so next is the placements section. So here, placements is where we want to show our ads. Okay, so we want to be able to place our ads in the proper placement. And so what Facebook does is they actually recommend you do an auto placement. And so Facebook will, based on your audience, show your ad in different spots or different placements throughout Facebook based on the people you're trying to target, the audience. Okay, so in this case, we're targeting both Spanish and English, okay? And we're targeting 13 to 65-year-olds who live in the United States. And so what Facebook's going to do then, because we have automatic placement set up, is they're going to be able to place our ads based on our target audience. So this is an option I always recommend you do, and Facebook recommends as well. If you're specific about where you want your ad to be placed, then you can just select edit placements. And notice when you select edit placements here, you have different options. Not only on Facebook, but on Instagram as well. Okay, and Facebook's network, and in Facebook Messenger. So you have all these different options available to you if you really want your ad placed in a specific position. So here, if I just scroll over here, I can see what it looks like in a feed, in-stream video. I can scroll down to Instagram. That's what it looks like in a feed on Instagram. Okay, you have Instagram stories. If I want to go and advertise on Facebook Messenger, then I have some options here in Messenger inbox or sponsored messages. Okay, so you have a lot of options available under edit placements, meaning picking your placement specifically. But again, I recommend, as does Facebook, just go with the recommended placements for now. Unless you're really clear and you really understand how Facebook works and where these placements are actually going to be. But remember, if you choose edit placements and place it in a specific position, let's just say on Messenger inbox, remember your audience may not be there. So going with the automatic placements, is a way for Facebook to help you get your ad in front of the right audience. Here, the next section, delivery optimization. Okay, how much of our ads are optimized and delivered? So remember, we chose conversions here, so we're going to optimize our ads for conversions. So what Facebook's going to do is take into account each conversion that each ad is getting. And they're going to show that ad that's getting more conversions more often than the ads that aren't getting as many conversions. Okay, so they're optimizing the ad delivery based on how many conversions each ad gets. And there's an option in here as well. So you can put a cost control in place. So you have an average cost per purchase. Okay, so Facebook will aim to get the most purchases and spend your entire budget. Okay, if you put in an average cost per purchase. So for example, if I'm selling t-shirts, I may not want my average cost per purchase to be $20 because I'm not going to make any money. So I'm probably going to choose maybe $2, $3, $4, even as high as $5 on the cost per purchase, because I want to make sure I'm not spending a lot of money just to get a purchase. So you have that option available to you to put in as a cost control. And here we have a conversion window. And so what this conversion window is going to do is, help Facebook optimize your ads a little bit better based on the number of conversions that happen in this window. Okay, so you have some other options in here. You want to do standard delivery, ad scheduling. You can run your ads on a schedule, or you can run them all the time. Okay, and then moving down to the next option in our ad set is we have split test budget and schedule. So we have the opportunity to put a budget in place for our ads. Okay, and we can schedule the A/B test to start running immediately if we want to. Or we can have the A/B test run at a specific date, and we can have it run for a specific period of time. So this goes all the way back to the first option where we chose A/B split test on step 1. So we have a series of options available to us for the split test. Okay, once we have all our options in place, okay, we're going to click continue. And then the final step is actually setting up our ads. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to name our ad, in this case, ad A. Okay, it's going to be tied to a Facebook page. It's going to be tied to an Instagram account. And then we could choose the format of our ad. So remember, we have a lot of different options available to us on Facebook. We have the carousel, which allows us to have multiple images scrolling horizontally. We can have that single image ad. We can have a video. We can have a collection of images. So we have a lot of options available to us. And then what we could do is we can link up our ad to a specific page. Okay. Now, before we do that, we want to be able to upload our images. Okay. So we're going to manually choose images, videos, and links. Okay. And then we're going to add some text to support that image. Okay. And so when we add text in for our ad, we have the option of setting up a headline. Actually, it's not an option. It's actually mandatory. The description is actually optional. Okay. But my recommendation is you want to add a headline that's going to grab attention, and you want to add a description to support that headline. So I always recommend putting in a description. And then once you do that, you're going to add your destination URL, and then you're going to be able to preview your ad. Okay, so if we have an image here, okay, we can just say, hey, come check out our new product. And so as I add this information, I'll be able to view it on the right side. Okay, so it looks like Facebook at this point is not able to view the image, but normally you're able to see a preview. In this case, it's on the mobile news feed. So if we drop down, we can see desktop right column. Okay, so we need to really choose our images. So we're going to change an image here. Let's see if I can choose another image. Okay, I'm going to choose an image here. And so now I can see the image. Now I could see the headline. And then I can see what it looks like just by changing the placement. Okay, so if I want to choose Facebook stories, whoops, that's not available. If I go to, for example, instant articles, okay, here I can see what my ad looks like on instant articles. So it wasn't available on certain placements because of the type of ad we chose. But the point being, when you set up your ad, you choose your image and you write your headline and put your destination URL in, then you'll be able to preview it on certain placements, depending on what type of ad you chose. Okay, once you're set up, and remember, we're setting up A/B testing. So that was ad 1. Now we want to test the second ad or the variation. And so basically what we want to do is choose the same type of format. Then what we want to do is pick a variation. What is that variation going to be? It could be maybe just a different headline, okay? Or it could be a different URL. You need to decide what it is you're going to test, okay? Once you decide what you test, you're going to add that to variation B. Once you add that to variation B, then you have both ads set up. Once you confirm, Facebook is going to confirm for you whether the ads meet their criteria. Okay, and if it doesn't, in this case, you could see we have some errors. Then we need to go back and fix them. So I'm going to go back and choose single image ad. Okay, so now I could just choose my one image. So I can browse a library of images I already have. Now here's my single image ad. I'm going to add some text in there, a website URL, a headline. Remember, you want it to be catchy. Okay, you can change the call to action here. Okay, you can add multiple languages. So you have a lot of options depending on the type of format you choose. So remember, we chose A/B test, so we're going to set up both ads, ad A and ad B. Okay, and when we do that, again, we can have Facebook review it. Once they review it, they can confirm. You can see we still have some errors on ad A. So let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to choose single image because that's what ad B is. I'm going to browse my library. Maybe I'll just test a different image. I'm going to click continue. And so basically keep everything the same. What I'll test is maybe the image. So you have to go into an A/B test knowing what it is you want to test ahead of time. Okay, once you do that, you're going to go ahead and continue to add B. And then once you do that, here, let's go ahead and fix this error here. The link field. So let's just go ahead and put a link in there. Continue to add B. Once I confirm, then I have 2 ads ready to go on specific placements, or excuse me, automatic placements in this option. That's the option we chose. And basically, the ads are set to optimization against conversions. We have a set budget, and we're going to be able to then, once our ads go live, is look at some reports to see how they're performing. So that's the steps in setting up a campaign on Facebook. You're choosing your objective, okay? Then you're setting up your ad set, okay? And then once you set up your ad set with your target audience, then you're actually going through the motions. In this case, we set up 2 ads because we chose A/B testing, okay? And if you didn't choose A/B testing, then you would just choose to set up the first ad. And once you do that, you confirm, and voila, your campaign is set up based on these 3 steps. Okay, so let's review with some do's and don'ts of Facebook. So we mentioned the types of ad that Facebook has. We mentioned how to set up a Facebook ad itself and choosing the right objectives. And so some of the do's involved are just what I mentioned. We always want to do A/B testing on our ads. Whether that's, again, just changing out the color or changing out an image, you always want to do A/B testing. Because Facebook has, carousel ads, and because they have, ads that can rotate, and you can use even video with your ads, you always want to take advantage of what's given to you. And so Facebook allows you to do it. So if you have the opportunity to have a video ad, then use the video ad. Highly recommend it. Remember, video ads have higher engagement. So definite do is use engaging videos and imagery. So you don't necessarily have to use a static ad or image ad. You can use the carousel, for example, or the presentation mode, where you could show multiple images to really showcase your product and service. So with all the advertising that you do, you always want to align your messaging. So use a message that will stay with the audience. Okay, so use something that's going to be able to trigger. Remember, it depends on the funnel and where you're at. So if you're awareness or consideration or conversion, that has to align with your messaging. So if you're, targeting ads, and you want people to convert, then your message is going to be as such. You're going to talk to people as if you want them to convert, as if they're ready to convert. And you want to keep your message consistent and simple. So remember, the ads are available to you, and you have so many different features available to you within those ads, but that doesn't mean you got to convolute it with messaging. So keep your message consistent and simple. If it's brand awareness, definitely keep your message simple so that people can understand exactly what it is your product or service is all about. Then you want to alter your reach so that the ads are shown to the appropriate audience. Okay, so you always want to keep in mind who you're trying to target. Okay, so you don't want to target somebody who's not in your demographic. So alter your reach so that the ads are shown to the appropriate audience. Remember, you have, reach available to you, and reach allows you to really pick and choose exactly who you're targeting to and how often. Remember, you want to reach as many people as possible, but you don't want to reach the wrong people. Okay, some of the don'ts some things you want to stay away from is you don't want to put all your money on one campaign. So you want to separate out your budget, allocate your budget across different campaigns. And I would even take that a step further and, put different types of ads in different campaigns just to see what works. So again, it depends on where you're at in the funnel. If it's just brand awareness, okay, maybe create a campaign for that. If it's consideration, create a campaign for that, because in consideration, you might have lead ads in there. Say with the awareness campaign, you may just have a single image ad, okay, just to introduce your product to somebody with a simple message. So you want to, definitely think about how you want to separate out your campaigns, but don't be afraid to separate your campaigns by the type of ads. Don't put too much information in the ads. Remember, keep it consistent and keep it simple. That's the best thing I can say. And remember, a lot of these ads are image-based. So images tell 1,000 words. They tell 1,000 stories. A video will do the job if you have to say too much. So if you're saying too much, think about a video. But if you're using an image, let the image tell the story. Okay, don't forget to proofread your ads. I can't stress that enough. Remember, if you're an awareness campaign, this is the first time somebody's seen your product or service. So you definitely want to get the messaging not only correct, meaning consistent and simple, but grammatically correct. You don't want to be so active on your Facebook page. So, when I say don't be so active on your Facebook page, really, it depends on where you're at. You're trying to introduce a product or service. So that doesn't mean that you need to go out and tell everybody to start buying your product. Remember, these people may not even know who you are, what product and service you offer. So you want to be able to approach your audience on your Facebook page in a manner which is suitable for your audience. And then have an image that doesn't correspond to the product being advertised. So you want to be able to have an image that does correspond. So if you're targeting a specific audience with a specific product, then make sure the image on your Facebook page aligns with that. Okay, don't be inconsistent. Don't confuse the audience. Be consistent with your imagery as well as your messaging. Okay, so those are some of the don'ts, things you want to stay away from when you're advertising. Okay, so I want to thank you for attending today's session on Facebook ads. For more information, please visit simplylearn.com. Thank you.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simply Learn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.